Today's episode of the Federation's Finest podcast is brought to you by The House, the feature film, now streaming on Tubi. After a freak accident and a night out drinking leaves two of their friends dead, the lives of 6 teens are changed forever with the discovery of a mysterious revive serum that can bring one of their dead back to life, but only one. Now torn into multiple groups and fighting amongst each other, these teens must decide who they are, what they believe in, and what truly is the value of a life. Stream The House, directed by Miles Ross. Hello, and welcome to the Federation's Finest. Everybody's going to the party. Have a real good time. I'm your host, Miles. I'm a filmmaker from Seattle, but I'm also a big mech fan. I grew up on Gurren Lagann. I'm currently watching through Gal Geiger and Paddle with my brother, but I'm a die-hard Gundam fan at heart. With this show, I'm here to lead 3 Gundam newbies through the series and see if we can figure out what this giant robot thing is all about. We'll be covering this series in my own special order, emulating but not quite following the experience of discovering the show on Toonami or the internet in the early 2000s. On today's episode, we're covering the final bit of our coverage of Gundam the 8th MS Team, episodes 11 and 12, along with the little short 2013 animation Mobile Suit Gundam Battle in 3 Dimensions, which was made in some anniversary. We'll figure it out. If you want to watch along with us, you should go watch those. Fellas, I'm ecstatic to have you here on this very special episode. Who else do we got alongside me today?
I'm Tom. I am here to castigate the enemies of the Godhead and ensure the absolute supremacy of our Eldritch Math Overlord.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Leo. I'm your local space cowboy, and to follow in theme here, I'm here to evoke the word of the God Emperor and carry out his will.
And I'm Kenneth, or Kenny. I'm kind of familiar with some of the Gundam series. And with Mecha series, I'm a casual anime fan, but, trying to go along with the journey. Pretty interesting so far.
Sweet. Well, I'm very excited to have y'all here for this journey. Fellas, as of today, you have finished your first Gundam series. Before we get into the recap, how's everybody feeling about that?
Miles. You felt my rage. In a single, to the fact that I sent a single message instead of a stream of them.
Yeah.
I hated this ending. I hated it so much.
So, before we cover it, and Leo, Kenny, did you have anything? Sorry, I know I can move at lightning speed sometimes.
No, I'm very curious just to see Tom's hatred perspective. I thought it was very, 90s anime. I fucking called it, by the way.
You did.
We'll get into that.
I kind of agree with what Tom said last episode of the first half being better. I think that after watching the ending, I'm like, I do kind of prefer the first half.
Yeah,
but that's just me.
Well, both directors of the show were very talented. I do want to just to bring up our little, since we talked about it less yesterday, if you turn your attention to our little private podcast general chat, not yesterday, last podcast. In terms of the spacing between these episodes, something really fascinating is that the left side of the screen is the Japanese air date. The right side of the screen is the U.S. Toonami air date on Cartoon Network back in the day.
So the U.S. never saw my problem with this. Ending.
Yeah. So,
honestly, if I had gotten the U.S. ending, not seeing the Last Resort, I would have been fine with
so you
that. I would have
specifically
preferred
hated
that
Last
ending.
Resort.
I hated Last Resort.
Yeah, so to clarify
Everything about that.
to clarify for the audience at home, we can't see our screen. The Shuddering Mountain Part 2 aired April 25th, 1999. Almost a year after the Shuddering Mountain Part 1 in July 25th, 1998. The American air date of the Shuddering Mountain Part 2 was August 6th, 2001. But the The Last Resort, the 12th episode and final episode of Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS Team, never aired on American television, whereas the original Japanese broadcast was July 25th, 1999. We wouldn't see the proper ending of, I'll just say it now, of what happened to Shiro and Aina and the mysterious children after the war, until we got the, I believe, DVD or VHS sets where it was included. But for most kids on on American televisions, they just saw Shiro and Aina mysteriously disappearing into the Osperus cave. But we'll talk about that as we get into our recap. Before we jump into things, I missed it last time, but I wanted to make sure y'all saw it. Did y'all get a chance to watch that little 9-minute Battle in 3 Dimensions episode?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched it while I painted my Tyranids.
Sweet. Can we talk about that just real quick?
It was cool.
Sweet.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Love fighting robots.
It looked like the sniper that was up on the hill, that was a damaged Zaku that they were just moving the arm of.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sorry. There is a damaged. Sorry for the audience at home. This is Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS Team Battle in 3 Dimensions. It's a little short they made in 2013. You can find it on YouTube. The short kind of the shorts are just a little battle on a bridge that takes place before Shiro and the guys are deployed to, I believe, before they're deployed to South America. It's before Elidor rejoins their team. But to answer your question, yes, the sniper on the bridge there appears to be a Zaku 1, a MSO64 Zaku 1 that is damaged, and they are the Zeeks clearly are just using the manipulator and the gun portion of it to blast down from the hill. I don't even know if it's even a sniper, if it's just like some sort of like retrofitted beam weapon or some sort of thing. But yeah, it is not a fully functional Zaku.
I did enjoy it, though, that Karen's entire role in that short was just to be bodied so that everyone could roll initiative.
Dude, I feel so bad for Karen because
she got Sakura.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, we'll talk about how Gundam sometimes treats female characters, but just the running trend of just Karen just getting job done or not looking as great of a pilot as the rest of them is kept up in this short made like almost.
Well, when you get sucker punched by a bullet.
Well, I just meant like it's always her. None of the other ones.
No, I know.
Just hit. But yeah. And
not to mention Mikhail's and Sanders' moment at the end. That was.
You're offering me a cigarette, but I'm only 12.
He's 18. He's a good boy. He doesn't smoke. As we'll see later, he may not smoke, but boy, does he drink.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
But fun little short. They're on a bridge. They get attacked. Karen gets job done, unfortunately, because she really is a really cool character. Mikhail and Sanders have a nice little, he's not Elidor. It's kind of weird working with him, but then they bond together. Shiro has absolutely no character development at all in this, but it's okay. He's Shiro. And they defeat another goof, I believe, here. And save the day. And then everybody has a little fun little bonding moment, the end. Presumably this takes place before the show. Don't have too much to say about it, but just does that name have any relevance or thought for y'all at all? Battle in 3 Dimensions?
Yeah, a guy who can fight in water. That would be a battle in 3 dimensions if you, I don't know, weren't a giant mech that sinks to the bottom immediately. Or space flight. There's like fighting in 0G, which we've seen him do with significant skill. Arguably more than he presents on land.
Yeah. I mean, And also, just food for thought to give it to. Could you have a battle in 3 dimensions with, say, a non-bipedal mech tank?
A non-bipedal mech tank.
Could you have a battle in 3 dimensions if these were just tanks?
Yeah, it's called combined arms warfare.
I see. I understand what's happening here.
All right. Well, I think it's time to move on to...
I think the correct answer is not with that attitude.
It's all right. It's all right. Well, hey, I'll let y'all take it.
Miles, haven't you seen the A-Team?
Yes.
You can fly a tank with enough gumption.
Dude,
That was based off family.
I remember seeing that movie when I was like 12, bro. Dropping that tank out the sky. All right. To get back to do proper scene by scene coverage, and I'm happy we only have 2 today.
Yes.
Do y'all
Episode 11.
want to take away with episode 11, the Shuddering Mountain Part 2?
I was gonna say guess the title name.
Oh yeah, the Shuddering Mountain Part 2. Sorry, I'm talking too much. With Norris dead, Aina and Guineas off on their mission, and Shiro leaving the service. Where are we at?
Guineas crazy eyes.
Yep, blood pouring from his mouth, clearly dying. Aina couldn't give less of a fuck.
Okay, she couldn't give less of a fuck, but she's still gonna fly it.
Yeah,
Like,
she's still gotta get in the mech, Shinji.
Can you give a little bit
she's
of?
suited up.
Can we give a little bit? Sorry.
Yeah.
Background.
Aina is suited up in her normal suit already, and is like, "Yo, Gideus, get suited up and get ready for this mission." Where are all your scientists? And he's like, "Oh, they're probably getting drunk." Yeah, on the stuff you poisoned and killed them with.
And
Which
blew
I thought
up
was
the room.
hilarious.
Yes.
It's called plastic explosive, Aina. Have you heard of it? It's delicious this time of season.
There's a shot where she just walks over him. That is like friggin' just funny.
Oh no, I love how she like just completely desensitized she is to it.
Oh yeah. She steps physically over his body. He's like, I don't care if you're friggin' bleeding out the mouth. Get your butt in gear, man.
Okay, but why?
Get in the van.
Like, why is she getting in the van? Like, he can't. I mean, maybe he could fly it without her.
I mean,
But it seems like a
started doing so
two-seater.
later, but you know.
Well, we get our first shot at the machine that we're referencing here, which is guarded by these 2 goof. I think they're actually still goof customs. They're just not in our blue color. The Osprey Mark III, and I forgot to bring it up last time, but there have actually been different models of these things. I'll put it in general for y'all so you can discuss. I want to let y'all have your own discussions here, but as you can see here, the Osprey Mark II, the Osprey Mark I, the Osprey Mark II, and then our big boy, the Osprey Mark III, which has a slightly different body shape than
Extremely different.
Just a lot of bit.
which with some people, I found a Reddit page that was describing this as the stupidest design in Gundam. I do not think so. I think it's cool. I know I'm
Oh, the fucking Triarch stalker. Sorry, not Triarch.
So dumb.
I hate those little mosquito arms so much.
Yeah, that thing gets
so
knocked over in a
stupid.
breeze.
Do y'all have any further thoughts about this machine here?
You know how with the first 2 versions, I was like, "There's no visible means of propulsion." Well, the one you could hand wave is probably like what I was assuming was anti-grav or something along those lines. Yeah, that's gone.
Okay,
that's gone. There's no because these stupid little mosquito arms fold out, and that's like, oh yeah, those 2 things that look like maybe they could be engines or something. I don't know, big round balls.
You're right.
Yeah, they're just on the arm now.
So
Like, and it still has spikes on shoulder pads.
You know, I'm starting to see why he blew up the scientist now. Because that thing, I'd blow him up too if they designed something like that.
So
The fuck are y'all thinking?
I've waited so long for this. So let's return to the mystery. As you can see there, our mystery of what the heck is up with why bipedal robots and this whole thing of Gundam in our show, which that question will be answered real soon. Tom, would you mind clicking on the page for the Osprus 1 for me?
For the Osprus 1.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sure.
All right, let me know when you have it up.
I have it up.
Okay, so we're going to have to ignore anything you see on the side panels. We are reading from the Gundam Wiki. We are on the Gundam Wiki page for the Osprus APS
Starting at just the main article, technology and combat characteristics.
Go to the top. Just read it from the top real quick. Just the first paragraph.
It just says it was a mobile armor developed by the Principality of Zeon and 8th MS team. That's all it says.
All right. Go over to the panel for it. Developed into first scene, last scene.
Osprus 2, 79 UC for both of those. What am I getting at here, man?
Oh yeah, where I'm leading. I'm being thematic. Please let me be thematic. Read the general characteristics and just read all the words just for general characteristics in those two little
Power
panels.
plant, Minovsky Ultra Compact Fusion Reactor, pilot accommodations, pilot and co-pilot in tandem seat cockpit and main body, co-pilot seat incomplete.
And what does it say under propulsion?
Minovsky Craft System.
So if you can, scroll down and avoid a bunch of words for me. Scroll down to a section that says special equipment and features.
Minovsky Craft System, a lift generating system that allows a vehicle to resist the pull of Earth's gravity. So, fucking anti-gravity. When Minovsky particles are released into the air, the positive and negative particles spontaneously align themselves into a three-dimensional cubic lattice because of the repulsive and electrostatic forces between the particles. This lattice resists compression, and the Minovsky Craft System uses this phenomenon to push the underside of the vehicle away from the planet's surface. This allows the equipped vehicle to float over Earth's surface. It is not installed on a standard mobile suit due to its power requirements and size. The Osprus 1 can raise the output of its Minovsky Craft System momentarily to generate a shockwave that can be used as a means of attack. That explains the daisy cutter.
All right, stop right there. Please close that page so we don't spoil anything else. Sorry.
So you are telling me that they are basically... Miles... They're broadcasting something out that then spontaneously, as it's being broadcast out, aligns itself in a perfect layer cake that presses up on them with. This Minovsky particle can't do everything, Miles.
So before,
just call it your sci-fi handwave particle and be done with it.
So we've seen a few things.
Jedi business. Go back to your drinks.
With Minovsky particles. We've seen them. The first time we hear them say it is Elidor in about episode 2 or 3, when they say a Minovsky particle broadcast and it interrupts some sort of signal reading that they have, right?
I knew it was interference, damn it.
And then we had signal interference is the first usage we hear of it. And then we learned, you guys figured out, which I was kind of egging you on to, that it also appears to be that the beam weaponry is also Minovsky particles, so it's an energy weapon. And then now we're hearing that Minovsky particles is some sort of anti-gravitech. That leaves a very big question. What the hell are Minovsky particles? Because they can't do everything.
The author wants them to be.
So, we'll keep on going. I do want you guys to know, I am not smart enough to read it, but there is most certainly a down to the numerical and integer scientific algorithm broken down for how Minovsky particles work and what the hell they are. That is upcoming soon, that you guys can see. I know you need it. I'm getting it for you as soon as I can, my boy. But do we have any thoughts, at least initially, about this whole Minovsky particle business with the Osprus and
I just imagine as Tom was reading, so kindly reading that paragraph for us, that you were just sitting there maniacally laughing from Light from Death Note.
No. So I'm at no point in here am I like trying to look down on you guys or laugh at you at all for not, or like prove you wrong for anything. I am just here so that you can figure out the mystery of what this is, because this is actually one of the most thrilling things for me. What the hell is going on with Minovsky particles, and I'll copy that into general for y'all too if you want to see. But if this is too much of me talking, let's keep on with the episode. If one of you wants to take off with the recap and your thoughts. Unless...
Karen was given an order to kill Pikachu if you were to desert. It was the next
literally in my notes is take the shots, Karen.
Yeah, so we learned.
Please do us all a favor.
We learned that Karen. Sanders was not the only spy by Ryer. Karen was to be a spy too, which makes
the military-industrial complex might be the bad guy.
What?
That's the. We learned in this episode that Ryder is that guy.
R-Y-E-R.
Ryer. He's war crimes.
War criminal.
He's war crime Willie.
Well, I feel so bad too because Kojima next to him is like clearly a good dude. Like he's a lower rank commander, but he's not whatever regional commander. I forget whatever rank Ryer is, but Kojima's like, hey man, let's not war crime, and Ryer's like, why not though, bro?
I'll fucking do it again.
Don't you understand? I have dual citizenship. Canada and Poland. Look it up. That joke's hilarious.
That's.
So I do have one other question before we really get into that. The Osprey 3 seems to have sustained beam weaponry. We haven't really seen the Fetties do that.
Yeah.
Is the beam saber not?
So
I mean,
the beam saber is certainly sustained, but it's not long distance. That's a good thing Tom pointed out here. Yeah.
That's fair.
They fire in bursts. And I'm assuming in the 3-dimension short that we saw that Shiro had a beam rifle and then swapped to Karen's longer range ballistic rifle because there's a thing in his HUD that says out of range. That doesn't make any sense for beam weaponry, but it also doesn't make any sense that you wouldn't be able to fire a sustained beam if you could fire a burst of a beam, unless there was a risk of overheating your weapon and like melting the actual barrel itself into slag or something along those lines.
Well, I mean, I was going to jump into it. My favorite person in this entire show, who does not even have a name, but I consider the silent hero of this thing, besides when he killed a whole bunch of civilians, but don't think about that, or wounded soldiers. That damn GM sniper putting in work. Silently, we never know who this pilot is. We never see him. But
there was an entire coolant system that he needed to remain stationary and have running through him to fire that.
So Tom,
I did like that mobile suit. I'll give him credit for that design. I like that one.
I've wanted that kit for years, since I was like in middle school. The GM sniper in the show with that unnamed pilot who's putting in work is like a little mini fan favorite. I don't think there's like a fan name for the guy, but that beam rifle's so good, and in Mobile Suit Battle Operation 2, he's so good. Tom, why don't you open up that page real quick, actually, the GM sniper. Or does anyone want to take it that's not Tom? I know I'm engaged.
I got it. I'll take it.
Okay, cool.
I'll bite the bullet.
So avoid a bunch of words on this page.
I'm really good at that.
Okay, read just the top first off.
Okay, so more fandom, sci-fi, gun... Wait, okay. Read the top bit.
Title in like first little paragraph for what that mech is.
The RGM-79G, a GM sniper, is a variant of the ground type. It is first featured in the OVA Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MST.
So yeah, this is the first time we've seen it, and anytime you see G next to something, that just means ground type, which means mostly non-space compatible. Let's go down to general characteristics.
General characteristics: it has a head height of 18 meters, a maximum weight of 66 metric tons, an empty weight of 53.8 metric tons. Tom, I'm sure this is doing something to your brain. Power plant is a thermonuclear fusion reactor. Power output of 1150 kilowatts. I'm going to say that's kilowatts. Sensor range of 6,000 meters. Pilot accommodations, pilot only. In cockpit, in torso. Armor of Luna titanium.
Sweet.
Whatever the fuck.
That sensor range is garbage. That's 6 kilometers.
Yeah. A lot of things in Gundams don't seem to have range. Like, range and shooting long-distance targets seems to be a problem for some reason, huh? Let's go over. Let's go to armaments, and please avoid most of the things there. I'm gonna read along with you to make sure there isn't anything that's
Armaments. Yeah, where do you want me to start?
Top one there. Just that top one.
Okay, oh boy. The Blash XBR-X-79YK long-range beam rifle, a long-range weapon equipped with a beam emitter designed for sniping and a large-range scope. It is also known as the sniper beam rifle. The rifle can be powered via one of two ways. Either the GM sniper charges the rifle's energy CAP, whatever the fuck that stands for more than 2 minutes, allowing the weapon to fire 2 shots per charge, or the energy CAP system is bypassed and the rifle draws power directly from an external generator, allowing it to rival a battleship's main gun in terms of firepower and range.
Keep on going. You can read more.
Okay. Give me a second. For the second method, since the control signal and idling energy need to go through the mobile suit itself, forced cooling is required for both the mobile suit and the rifle. Therefore, the long-range beam rifle needs to be connected to a generator and a cooling system via cables and pipes when used. A backpack was also developed for the use of the long-range beam rifle, which functions both as a power source and a cooling system. While the backpack's total energy and cooling efficiency are inferior to the external generator, it allows the GM sniper to leave friendly positions and set up ambushes.
Sweet. Stop right there. So, something I always thought of, and I don't own this kit, I wish I did, is when you buy the Gundam kit, and these are art renditions from the packaging, it comes with the cooling system and the cables that go from the beam rifle to it, which you will not see anywhere on anything else. Almost everything else decides to just use its internal Minovsky reactor for powers, but as we can see, as this thing can cut through and seemingly rival the Osprey's main weapon, it packs a punch equivalent to the Osprey from what we can tell, at least in terms of a single beam rather than the Osprey's seemingly like multi-beam splash. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that?
I like this one.
I like this one too. So I really hoped you liked this one, because this mech specifically is when we start getting into the big, like, okay, do you want technical explanations for how things work?
Yes.
Say hello to the GM sniper. Cool general infantry kid, and rest in peace to our poor pilot here, who kind of unceremoniously gets jobbed on in the next episode with just a straight beam shot to the chest. But keeping it going. What else happens?
China hails the feds to try and organize a ceasefire.
Yeah, I have temporary truce by order of having the big stick.
Yeah.
She's basically let our wounded go, or what? Or I'll kill you. Like, guys, what are we doing here? It's war.
I do gotta say that while right before that happens, like, as Karen's getting the order from Ryer, she just flips out because he's a man. And then I have in my notes here, Karen, please leave your trauma outside the MS.
Oh yeah, she's like, every man's all the same, they all leave me.
Yeah.
Really though, Karen was the more Karen was on screen, the more they had a chance to mess her up.
Right,
like,
and they took damn near.
When she first showed up, she rocked. I loved Karen.
Throwing the wrench at Elidor.
Yeah, but apparently not even that, of just like with Shiro being like, you better actually prove you deserve to lead this team, because I don't know you. Like,
back.
the energy, the things she did, her abilities were present, and now that's just it's not her role anymore, and that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, she did just kind of fade rather rapidly.
You mentioning Karen or Ina?
Karen.
Karen. Yeah, well, I mean, I feel bad because she totally was the best pilot, at least in terms of Gundam suits, Gundam mobile suits, in episode 2 when we meet her, and then by the time you get to, unfortunately, the boys overcome her at a certain point, and she is just kind of retroactively the worst pilot by like almost like shonen style power scaling. Everyone just gets so good at piloting Gundams over the course of the series, besides maybe Sanders.
Are you telling me that Karen is Krillin?
Karen is kind of the Krillin of this group, unfortunately. Maybe the Yamcha.
Unreal.
With her GM head, RX-79 there.
But yes, and then Ino tries and hails ceasefire, blah, blah, blah. Unsurprisingly, the feds do not give in and agree to commit war crimes. Woo!
Yeah, Ryer is like, hey, Ryer's like, yeah,
Fucking
let
shoot her.
the ship go. And then she steps out into the open, and Ryer's like, get ready to fire. And Kojima's like, what? But you said. And he's like, I don't keep promises.
In true, as I have here, in true Pikachu fashion, Ina gets out the Osprey.
Full bright-eyed Pikachu. And the line in the ground that she lays is like, with the energy weapon is like kind of just poignant. She's like, hey, look, I can destroy all of you, but I'm ready. And I think her and Guineas at one point are like, yeah, let's just become war prisoners. And she's like, no, and he's like, no, let's not do that. I don't want that.
Well, I love that Ryer's response is, we will not be intimidated. It's like, did you see what that just did?
Yeah, did you not
Like-
just see that pants shitting laser that just got launched?
We will not be intimidated by assured destruction. Like, you have no countermeasure at this moment.
Well, I mean,
But we are not afraid.
I can't find his rank. Do you think Ryer has the the permission to like negotiate a deal like that if he needs to?
I think he's
terrorists.
Yeah, I think he's the Yuri of the Fetty equivalent of Yuri in this area.
I'm trying to find an age for Ryer. Keep going.
But yeah, Ryer calls snipers out. Like, Ina steps out of her cockpit and is like, maybe if they see my beautiful face, they'll agree to the ceasefire.
Someone
Which is wild.
and then someone finally shoots Ina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead center.
Well, before that, we get the really tragic thing of the ship, which I cannot remember its name, that they're desperately trying to protect, just gets friggin' dominated by our boy, the GM sniper, if I'm right.
Yeah, just a laser directly to your drive cone. Just a hello meltdown.
And she has to watch as all these not civilians, like I said earlier, but just wounded Zeeks are just eviscerated in a second, and they're unfortunately not able to make it out into orbit.
And then Gideon has my favorite crazy man argument in a while.
That was just
great. It's war. War is evil. Everyone in war is evil. And you know what? You fighting for peace, sacrificing all of this, that's the most evil.
Well,
like, dude, what?
we talked about it, but it's very Gundam, which is really weird because sometimes it's not subtle with certain things and sometimes it is with others, does depict a dude's like quick mental collapse and fall into mental health problems in a very realistic way. Like, Guineas isn't having like a big like Western style, like Hollywood style, I'm losing my mind moments. He's just like, nope, I'm slowly becoming more and more sadistic from losing my meds until I'm like, no, I'm giving now illogical, like logical fallacy arguments to everything because I just want to kill because I'm losing my mind, unfortunately.
I don't know if unfortunate is necessary, but sure.
Oh, I mean, it is unfortunate because he seemed to have it kind of together back in the first episode when he's like at this whining and dining with all these like Zeon nobles and official men, and then by the time he misses his meds the first time because Ina Shiro
I
are
mean,
sleeping.
listen, man, something had to have snapped within that man because he looked at the Osprey 3 and those two cojones and went, "Yup, that's the one.
That's the one. Build that one.
Build that one. Approved. Fund all of the government's money into this. I do not care."
But yeah, we get our moment of, and I feel so bad because her face immediately prior to it is like so innocent. She's like, "Yeah, bro, like we don't have to fight anymore. We'll just surrender. We're the two children of what's implied to be like Zeon noble people." And we'll just surrender and they'll treat us perfectly fine. And then immediately he's like, "No, gun go shoot. Gun go
Well,
shoot."
not immediately though, because he rants about their mom for a bit.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, a little bit.
I just had that she left. We don't know where or why, but he's like, she left and something presumably happened. And then shaky hands and oh shit, he shot his sister.
Shaky hands.
Norris also is like, "Yo, your dad, you're the spitting image of your dad," which he tells to Aina, which implies that their dad must have been like seemingly a very kind, or at least kind for what we know of Zeke's noble person too. But before whatever happened that caused these two children to go down this path, huh?
Yeah. And here's where we start to enter my problems with this ending. Obviously, Shiro catches her.
Obviously, and rightfully loses his shit.
And well, no, he doesn't. He doesn't lose his shit. He does the classic, "Stop it. Stop pretending. Come on,
yeah.
Aina, this isn't funny. I know you're not really dead. I know this hole in your chest is just you playing a prank. Wake up. Open your eyes."
We see the hidden cameras.
This is why he's Ensign Pikachu. This is why I hate him.
Oh man, he is a very okay. But to push back a little bit, Tom. Very like normal Eastern or Western for like a protagonist. Like he's, whether or not you think he's bland or not, this is John.
But no. It's of the time.
Yeah.
It's so very of the time, and I can't stand it, man.
Okay. He's a little
Like-
too Goku for you. He's a little too I protect my friends and have.
Yes, I am the light in the fridge for all beings who cry out in hunger. 100%. There's nothing upstairs, man. It's just there's a
wheel
American
spinning.
flag waving and a bunch of fireworks going off. Every once in a while, an eagle flies across and goes "Spee!" That's it, dude.
So I've waited to talk to y'all about this because there's a term I have in fiction just for this whole thing with this Romeo and Juliet style thing. This is gonna sound kind of weird. I just need y'all to stay with me, okay? Kitty, Leo, Tom, just stay with me for this. For
I
this
mean, we're still here.
We were talking about early on in the episode how Aina and Genius's relationship felt a little weird, brother and sistery in those first few episodes. Would you say, with how friendly they were being with each other, in hugging and touching up against each other, and
The Oni-chan and the
Oni-chan. And then we have this very Romeo and Juliet style thing of like she has to do this duty for Zeon even though she loves Shiro clearly. There is a term that I've dubbed because I write scripts, I'm a filmmaker. Stay with me, just listen to me through this whole thing. There is a term I like to call, and this is a trope in fiction, soul cucking. Okay,
You've lost me.
just listen.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
So
let him cook, boys.
Okay,
let him cook.
Let me go out. Okay. When you watch Breaking Bad is a story of like Walter White, who becomes this big southwestern drug lord, and it's about drugs and crime and in the cartel and Los Pollos Hermanos. But what is Breaking Bad about? Breaking Bad is at its core about being a middle-aged man and like losing touch with your family. And the drugs and crime and all that is really just kind of a cover for like, hey, Walter White is 55, he's dying of cancer, and he can't be with his family, right? When you watch Godzilla is about like a giant nuclear monster destroying Tokyo, what is Godzilla really about? The Hiroshima,
The
Nagasaki.
aftermath, yeah.
Yeah.
Nuclear.
White people being white people. How dare you?
Nuclear bomb testing and further nuclear bomb testing around the world, right? When you watch Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's not really about aliens coming and taking over people's bodies. It's about, like, the Cold War and McCarthy-era America. In most stories, either to, like, parse a boundary or explain something to someone or, like, touch upon a subject that's kind of touchy or uncomfortable that you wouldn't normally be able to interface with directly, as storytellers, as directors, as animators, as whatever you want to be, one of your biggest tools is to use metaphor and theme as the text. The subtext is this text. There is, and Gundam's not necessarily shown, it's not shown in it all, really, but it kind of, in a way, is young men media. We'd say Shiro Amada is a very young man directed, oriented character, would you say, right?
So blatantly, obviously so.
There,
in the worst ways possible.
There is a trope in fiction where you have the experience of your girl being kind of taken from you by a greater cause or conflict that is supposed to evoke the feeling of you losing her, i.e. being, like, cuckolded or whatever, but not literally. The examples I always like to think of is, have any of y'all heard of Grandia? Grandia is a JRPG, early 2000s, late 90s. Towards the end of the video game, it's like the adventures of you. You're a guy named Justin, and there's a rotating cast of characters, but it's you, Justin, and then this girl named Fina, who's another adventurer, and you go on adventures together. Towards the end of the game, there's this the big evil is about to take over the world, and you guys learn that Fina is actually a member of this, like, alien / ancient race of basically Valkyrie women with wings or whatever. Anyways, in the night before, like, the big battle's gonna go down, this guy named Colonel Mullen, who's like this nice, handsome, tall, charismatic guy, comes up to Fina in the tent and is like, hey, you and me are like the strongest people around. You and me should go up to that mountain and defeat it together. And Fina's like, no, but what about my friends? And he's like, but you and me together can do it. What's more important, you or your friends? And then you have your big dramatic moment where your character, Justin, wakes up the next morning and you go up to the hill and Fina's on the foot of the airship with her, with Mullen, and she's about to leave. And you're like, what are you doing? And she's like, no, Justin, stay. It's too dangerous. You can't go. It has to be me and him to do this alone. And she's like, and you're like, what? But we go together. We're friends. And then you try to run up and she pushes you back with her energy blast thing. And she's like, I'm sorry, but I have to go with him. And then you leave and you're like, oh, I hate her. And then 3 minutes later, he's like, we have to go back and save her because that's my girl. And then you have your big dramatic thing where you go and get her back. And she's like, oh, no, I was wrong to do it. Anyways. There's a bunch of different examples of it, but it is a weird thing you see in a lot of young men media, where you have a character and a girl, and instead of it just being like a normal, like, Romeo and Juliet story, it is the girl has to be pulled away by a bigger, larger purpose, and the young man has to come and save his girl back from the bigger purpose, whether that be family lineage or a secret power she has or whatnot. What do you guys think of this first situation of this first instance of potentially many of soul cucking in Gundam here, of this struggle of Shiro and Aina having to fight to get themselves back from Guineas here?
I hate it.
You hate
because
it?
Because it's disingenuous.
You feel it's disingenuous.
Elaborate. Each one of them in this moment sacrifices themselves at least twice. Before this, there was an explosion that straight up should have killed Shiro. Aina just got shot directly in the chest. Yeah. She's bleeding out of the mouth, there's no reason you should ever do that unless you have cut the inside of your mouth. Miles and I have talked about this.
Talked about this a lot.
But it's cinematic language for I'm dying. So if you are giving me cinematic language of I'm dying, you are shot in the chest, die.
Follow through, you think?
Follow through. definitely don't wake up right as your brother's about to fire the laser beam at your boyfriend. Go, suddenly have enough strength to push him out of the way, take a laser beam to the back, and just sacrifice the skin on your back. Don't die again this time. Don't push your boyfriend out of the way and get vaporized by the laser beam yourself. Push him out of the way, get a little bit like third-degree burns on your back. Wow, that's going to suck for a couple months. Probably should go to the hospital. You'll be fine. It's disingenuous, and I don't like it.
So we'll get into... I am so eager for us to get the Zeta Gundam. I am so eager for us to get the Zeta Gundam because the discussions of sacrificing people or people not being dead or actually being dead may become a bit more common, and there's many different variations of them. I was just thinking, because I never finished the thought. The reason that perhaps they did the Oni-chan, like this is kind of weirdly, seemingly, subtextually incestuous relationship between Aina and Guineas throughout this is so that they can complete that soul cucking thing I was talking about, where Shiro has to save the girl from her grander purpose. That's like her being, that's you as the young man, the audience member watching this, having to save your girl from a worse dude who's pulling her away from you. If anybody watched the most recent Gundam Seed Destiny movie, you know what I'm talking about. But Kenny, Leo, do you have any thoughts on this? I know Tom's probably got more.
I mean,
I totally agree with him. It is fucking stupid. Like,
I mean, absolutely, dead should be dead. But I mean, real 40K,
He should be dead
40K
so many
fan knows that they aren't dead until you see a body, and even then,
Sanguinius. Yeah.
Listen, hey, you keep his name out your fucking mouth. You leave our poor boy alone.
Praise be unto him. But yeah, sorry, I went off on a big tangent there, but I wrote something down for that. If my notes for that were just GM Sniper and soul cucking for this first episode. Any thoughts on the ending of this as our GM is shot through the chest, the poor pilot who we will never know who's putting in work, and they kind of cockpit ram the Osprus while it's open and firing a laser. We also get to see the rest of our teammates not really have much to do the rest of this episode.
No, they run towards the hill after what could only be the meltdown of a reactor at that size. I mean, a massive explosion that nothing without plot armor could possibly survive. But I put it in quotes, Miles. Elidor says, "He's not dead, is he? Of course not."
Well,
Of course not.
I love just as some minor thoughts. I love Ryer telling Kojima basically to F off, and Kojima's like, yeah, I never really cared about,
I did like that.
I never really cared about air conditioning anyway. South America.
That was a good line. That earned Kojima some respect.
Mm-hmm.
We also get Kojima, the old man and the new young buck in the tank together. Kojima and friggin' Mikhail, and Mikhail's like trying to make small talk with him, and he's like, "Dude, just drive the car, bro. Just put the fries in the bag, little bro." as they're going off together, and they make it to the mountain, and Shiro and Aina charge in. And an arm gets blasted off by that damn GM Sniper that can cut through Luna Titanium Gundarian alloy. And yeah, they fall into the mountain, don't they?
And then everything explodes. But like you said, if there's no body, they're not dead.
Yeah.
And even then,
you know how else I know they're not dead? Because Shiro's doing the voiceover at the end.
that's fair.
Yeah. Just so we don't miss it, and I'm sorry if I'm talking over and interrupting y'all. I'm gonna give you a bunch of room on this latter episode because I really want to hear your thoughts. I love this moment of Ryer just looking as the mountain is bubbling with lava, and he's like, and someone's like, "Yo, we gotta evacuate," and he's like, "Dude, come on, I'm not getting out of this.
Be real.
I'm the asshole general in the military show, bro. I'm not making it out of this."
I'm the captain that goes down with the ship.
Yeah. You know, the way it is bubbling, it is like being animated, is like as soon as that energy pops and penetrates the other side, like this is done, and he gets his big Gurren Lagann Kitan like screen wash moment where it just goes white, and it's like, yeah, he was atomized in a second. And holy crap, the explosion from that mountain was
Yeah, that was interesting. That was a little further back, but Ina shoots over them and just like Saitama style, just takes out most of a mountain.
Obliterate them down.
Like,
Osprey is a
But-
powerful weapon, man.
I mean, it's cool. It's a cool visual. It's a big old beam. But guess what? Not long after, the war ended. Roll credits.
Yeah, so the mountain falls, and there's a few little character moments as they're running towards Shiro and Aina, and the corpse of Guinea is smushed into the cockpit in the mountain. You get like you said, Sanders and Mikhail being like, is he dead? And Sanders is like, nah, he's alive, bro. He just knows like our captain's got to be alive. I also love. Oh, go on, sorry.
It's a classic Gundam moment of like yelling when the person you're yelling to can't possibly hear you.
Right.
Like they're at the base of the mountain. They're running toward the mountain, not even up it. They're running toward the mountain and already yelling for the commander.
They're running
Like-
towards the mountain, and
Like I get it, but it annoys me.
They're running towards the mountain and specifically to arrest Shiro. Because that's Kojima's like, he's like, yeah, that's my boy, but I gotta arrest him. I also love this. Maybe this is just me at heart. I love this cute little moment of Elidor still trying to make a pass at Karen, and I'm not sure if you notice, he actually pulls his hand down. He like grabs her by the arm, and then he like pulls his hand down and gets to hold her hand there at the end a little bit as they're running towards the mountain. It's like, oh, you friggin', you damn horn dog. I don't think those two ever got together after the war, but it is funny that he still snuck in a little like, oh, okay, let me at least try to get in with her a little bit at the end here. But they're running up the mountain, and there's a big gaping hole in the mountain behind them, and we get our elongated credit sequence of the residuals of his lab of Guineas's lab inside this mountain, and then a little camp with what appears to be Shiro and Aina's clothes, but they're nowhere to be seen, and there's a little cross in the ground that appears to be Guineas's grave. Or at least that's what I think. What do you guys think? Kenny, Leo, Tom?
Oh, I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I totally missed that entirely in the credits.
Yeah, there's a little like I forget what that's called. The
grave?
Yeah. No, the
Think
cross
so?
made out of there's a little steel iron cross there in the ground, and then it's implied that, at least I'm gonna guess, that's Guineas. And when I was watching this years ago, I either missed because when I was remembering this before watching it, I was thinking, oh, this is the ending where we don't know what happened to Guineas, we don't know what happened to Shiro or Aina, but they totally at the end do show them, and we hear their voices being like, yeah, it's a good thing we made it out of there. And they're like, where are we gonna go? And it's like, who knows?
Well, most of them.
Yeah. Who knows?
As part one of calling it, he
Losing
lost
a
a
leg.
fucking leg. Yep.
Yeah. Hey. We move on to, and this is where the show ended initially for many, at least on American television. And we've got one more, unless y'all have any final episodes of our last true Gundam scene episode of Gundam the 8th MS Team, the Shuddering Mountain Part 2, Episode 11.
Something, last resort.
All right, Episode 12, Last Resort, the final episode of the show, boys. I'm going to let y'all take it for the lead, because I've been blabbing my gums too much.
So starting off in Christmas Eve, we'll call it, for sake of UC 0079.
Well,
random ass.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Random ass Zeke ship being shot down by feds, as one does. escape ship of children escape. It's what they do. Let's see.
What do you think's up with these children? Do you think there's something special with them, at least initially?
Yes.
Why are there children here being dropped on Earth in the middle of this war?
Because the Xeon believe that it's best to start them young.
Because if you want to make a Spartan, you first need to kidnap a little baby from its family.
I thought that's how you made a Jedi.
Well, no. Witchers pay for them. Jedi take them. Spartans, they just kind of, we're gonna, here, snatch. Okay, it's gone now.
Well, there's a question you actually asked a few episodes ago, which is how cosmopolitan is space, and we get to see our first confirmed black person here in the Gundam.
Like super black.
Yes, super black.
Like
black.
very, but no, like aggressively 90s animated token black.
Yeah. African American.
With just a killer fade.
Fade maintained
when he first opened the door.
A fade maintained before, after, and during the war. Before, during, and after the war somehow. I don't know who his barber is on post UC 79 Earth, but any other thoughts on this little opening sequence with them in these strange mobile suits that y'all have not seen yet fighting in space?
My initial thought, I can't remember all of the information I had at this point, but my initial thought was some kind of like basically Hitler Youth program, and these were like teenage ace pilots in training in some regard.
Well, we're at the end of our show. Do you feel like the to say it bluntly, that Xeon are still fascists, that they're still Nazis?
We haven't really seen enough of their social structure.
Yeah.
But
you've heard Zeke.
Yeah, they're definitely supposed to evoke that feeling in you, that initial visceral reaction, which, I mean, knowing what I do about how stories are constructed and all of this, I will fight against that initial visceral reaction you want me to have and look for the subtext you're trying to tell me, which is, hey, nobody is really evil enough that you need to shoot him in the face. Unless, they're shooting you in the face, and then have
a
a
vast
go.
majority of my fan base would disagree with you there.
War is bad.
Well, yeah, I mean, when we need blood for the blood god, I'll be the first in line to provide some. But this is
filthy heretic.
Do you think there's anything or like any sort of force or deities or entities in the Gundam universe that that Xeon may be siding with that makes them like you I'm forgetting the word, but just like definitively evil? Like, do you think there's anything in here that may make them like a universal threat that the Federation has to face, or vice versa, that the Federation has some sort of trait or thing behind it that makes them?
No, I think this is a largely political conflict that has then been propagandized. I'm assuming that Zeke struck first. I'm not positive if we have that information or not. I think someone mentioned that the Xeon started the war.
Okay, you think Xeon started it? Okay.
I think we've had someone mention it in one of the episodes. I can't remember which. I have it in my notes, I'm sure. It might have been in Miller's report. But it feels like a largely political ideology that was then kind of blown into a existential fight for the survival of our way of life.
Gotcha. And do you still think potentially Xeon's like in another dimension, or do you think they're in space?
Okay, so you really want me to put my tinfoil hat on? You opened it up with giving me Minovsky particle information.
I am here for anything y'all have. Drop this at any point.
So if we're gonna throw our tinfoil hat on for a moment, I'm the alternate dimension. It's not okay. Okay.
An audience at home, forgive me if I've been talking so much. I've been trying to get them to do this. Please, at any point, drop theory so my gums don't have to drop. This is fascinating.
it's still on the table. I've been throwing a lot of stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and that's one that hasn't had a reason to fall off of the wall yet. Like that noodle is still pretty well cooked.
Okay.
And Minovsky part it's a terrible idea to theorize before one has data. I agree, Mr. Holmes, but all I'm going to do is theorize, and I'm going to have fun with it.
Yeah, that's what this is for.
If there are positively and negatively charged Minovsky particles, I mean, yeah, sure, whatever, but there seems to be more to it than that, and if we're going to throw it into this theory, it's going to bake into that theory in the way that both the Federation forces and Xeon are from not the prime timeline, and in some way the Minovsky particles are not a byproduct, but a result of these two kind of realities overlapping or clashing with each other in kind of the way that matter and antimatter would annihilate each other, in that there is some kind of thing that is present because of that interaction, and you can then harness it and do stuff with it.
Okay, you think
this has been a tinfoil hat moment.
You think this is like two universes coming together to a new world, and then the like almost like a Drakengard near situation.
A Witcher convergence of the spheres.
Okay.
That is how this theory is developing. It's not super likely. I mean, if it doesn't have to be magical, make it mundane, and it feels more mundane, but I don't know, man. You referenced Dinosaur Jesus walking with mechs in our last episode,
Okay, so ignore
anything
that.
could happen.
It happened.
Ignore that. That is something that I said. That is a reference to G-Quux, which is the Kurt running Gundam series. That is so far down
Miles,
the line.
Miles, it's pronounced Jesus.
It is GQUUUX is the name of the Kurt running Gundam.
Jesus.
Fuck off with
How
all
else
those
do you
views.
spell it, stupid?
Well, ignore that. Just keep that out your head. The majority of Gundam is.
I'm just saying that
Yeah.
no theory is really off the table for me at this point. I really do not have enough data to draw logical, not even logical. I don't have enough data to draw what I would say are more than 50% assumptions. I have no real front runner in my theories at this point.
Okay, yeah, all good. When you're comfortable, please feel free to share them. I want the vibe of this project is me and my buddies in middle school coming together at the table and talking about what we think's going to happen on the next episode of Naruto or Dragon Ball Z Kai or whatever the hell we were watching in 2013. So please drop them theories. I'm eagerly excited to hear your thoughts. But Kenny and Leo, did you have anything too?
I mean, fuck. What was the original question?
Oh, I said
Exactly. What was this about again?
I said, I was just like, hey, Tom thought there was some interdimensional stuff going on with Xeon.
Well, no, before that, we were talking about what you thought the kids were for, and then if you thought Xeon still was actually a fascist state.
Yeah. Just anything on this stuff.
I mean, he said the war was quote unquote over. I'm calling bullshit.
Gotcha.
So from based off of what we are led to believe, what we are given, I mean, 40K, we have eagles on our chests too, man, but ooh, that's not the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, as we're descending to Earth, by the way, this mech here that we get to see destroy up as it's just get destroyed as it's re-entering orbit. It doesn't have the proper coding. Anyone want to guess the name of it? It is also in that above screenshot there. You see it around.
I mean, who cares? Dude melts on re-entry. Get wrecked.
1 minute into the episode. Any guesses?
Dust.
Its name is the Gelgoog. G-E-L.
That was my second guess.
Oh, yeah, totally. MS-14A Gelgoog. It is a Zaku one-year warship. But as the Gelgoog does not make it into re-entry with the kids, we go into our episode where we get to see some familiar faces and rivals. Mikael and Kiki have joined up. And
He's just drinking.
Let's go.
Just straight drowning his sorrows.
Oh, I love this moment so much.
What do we learn about him?
You get cocked. Sorry. Oh, you had a kid. That's insane, man.
BB.
That moment so much. I paused and just laughed for like a solid 20 seconds.
Holy
That was
fuck.
pretty good.
So he's down.
Never trust a French woman in space, man.
Don't trust a French. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
But yeah, he's on the ship down in alcohol, and I'm trying to find the picture for you. Sorry, I'm talking too much. I'll let you.
See, the best part of this though, that BB has a kid with another guy, and he still has the picture and is still obsessed with her and has crossed out the other dude's face. Like everything about this is perfect, and then only then do we find out that Kiki is still with him, still looking for Shiro, and is like, oh, I can't believe you're pining over this girl who doesn't love you back.
Dude, the irony
and rips
is so
up
great.
the picture. I love it.
Oh my god.
The irony is so great because, again, obviously there's weird shipper people. I see these two as like having like a brother and sister relationship. There's nothing romantic going on here. I love the dynamic of the two youngest people just being like, all right, yeah, we got to go find everybody else. Also, dude, totally get over your like manic pixie hair dream girl. I get to be with my man hunk, not you. You gotta let go of your stuff. I don't have to. Oh, which is
you went into the military in space. Welcome. This is what happens.
But yeah, they say the war is over, and we get to see Destress of, 1 second, I'm trying to find the picture. We get to see a gun tank in the background, and we get to see some Destress of Tom's favorite machine, the Magella, just bullet holed and rusted over. So it's been a couple years. They're probably in their 20s if they're 18 or 19 when the 8th MS Team Prime was going on, huh?
I mean, they're rusted.
No, you keep going.
Oh, right. That was fucking thanks. I put that out of my brain.
How long? Because he says it's 000 who gives a shit or whatever. How
That is
long?
I have it written down as it's still 0079.
Yeah.
So the beginning of the episode was a flashback. Sorry. With that.
God.
Sorry.
And why give us the date?
So the beginning. Sorry, I got that textually. The beginning of the show, that little clip there, is a flashback. They have been on those kids have been on Earth for a while, but
I do have a technical question.
yes, sir.
Their spaceships run on floppy disks?
This was made in 1995.
Still though. Like I mean, go look at early Gits. They're not using floppy disks.
Hey man, we still use it as our save icon. I don't know. They didn't know.
It's called imagination. I just found that funny.
Just to defend myself, when I was confusing where the show was taking place, there is the mountain with the hole blown in it by Aino, which implies that this is South America, and people are wearing rice hats here, so I do not know where this actually is taking place. Don't ask me where they are.
Didn't we find out it was Southeast Asia? Didn't you? We had a whole discussion about that.
No. It was Southeast Asia for the first.
I'm pulling up the podcast.
Yeah. I believe they are actually in Jabril, South America for the latter half, because that's where they say they're going in the movie.
Okay. Well, can we just move straight past all of the wrecked warships and forcing the issue with Rain and get to post-apocalyptic Lord of the Flies?
Yeah. So the kids move on. Shiro, not Shiro. Mikael and
Kiki.
Kiki are looking for Aino and Aina and Shiro, who they believe are still alive.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. They believe only as long as the other one believes. Like, I don't think they really believe they're alive. They hope they're alive, but I think it's like we don't know what else to do with our lives right now, so we're gonna go on this trip together and look, and maybe we'll eat, pray, love, and find our purpose on this trip.
With the subtext of him being like, it's UC whatever the hell it is, this definitely is not 0079 anymore. I'll tell you all that. It has been some time since the war ended. How long do you think this has been?
I'll give you 3 to 5 years.
You think they're still searching for them after 3 to 5 years?
I mean,
Yeah.
It's like 1 to 2 based at the end of the episode, but that's just how my brain is going through.
Yeah, I would have to go off of like 1 or 2, and that's going off of the context of oddly enough, the photo of BB. Because, like, the war ended, Mikhail went back and found this, quote unquote. And that kid is still an infant, toddler, so this can't be more than like 1, maybe 2.
See, my timeline of that was the war ends, Mikhail keeps searching for Shiro, doesn't go home, keeps writing to B and is like, I can't go home yet, my mission's not done. And she's like, but the war's over. He's like, but my mission, my commander, my one true love. She's like, all right, well, I've been waiting for you this long, and now you're not taking the bus when the bus is at the stop. Well, guess what, buddy? We're leaving. And it takes her some time to find her nice man hunk. It takes them some time to get married. It takes them some time to have a kid. 3 to 5 years.
If I may, just to throw my hat into the ring here, in Battle Line in the Burning Sand, episode 6, in that letter that BB sends to him, she's like, hey, I don't know how much longer I can hold out, is her big point there. She's like, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know how
was
long
the
I
whole
want to
thing.
date a dude who's in the military. Although we know now that he immediately, as soon as the war ended, he was decommissioned. He's out. And he said the others stayed in. So seemingly Sanders and Karen and Elidor surely chasing after Karen's tail there, is stayed in. So he's the only one who's out, apparently. Or maybe they got out at some point later too. We don't know. It's obvious in the show who won the war.
Xeon officially lost the war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, very clearly. That's what happens when you don't understand aerodynamics.
Well, my next question was going to be, what do you think is the big, like, if what do you think was there, like, Hitler taking coke, Nazis being
if I had to
reason for losing?
If I had to pin it on one thing alone, I'm putting it on the DOP.
The DOP? The DOP cost them, it was too much, it was too expensive and too full.
See, I have a feeling that I can't remember if it might have been in the flashback or something, but I have a feeling that Xeon has a significantly less industrial capacity than the Earth Federation.
You think they build as many units as Earth Federation?
I think their ability to sustain long-term warfare is not as robust. Okay. I think they can field I think they have a lot of AK-47s, but they can't get a chocolate cake to Berlin in the middle of a war zone. Like, it's a different skill set. They feel more like space pirate terroristy, like after the war, than a proper state actor.
See, I think the Xeon just have too many megalomaniacs designing stupid fucking things. Example 1 being the DOP, example 2 being the Asperus 3. And so all of these megalomaniacs went, as a megalomaniac implies, maniacal and blew up all the scientists into a state of bankruptcy.
Audience at home, please keep it in your pants. Okay, keep on going.
We also have at least one noble house. I'm not sure if we've learned of more or been given a number or some information that's only one or not.
I think there's
but
more than just the Sahalins.
If there were more than just the Sahalins, then I think that kind of organization would lead itself, like we've already seen some amount of infighting between Guineas and Yuri, like even before Guineas was full wackadoo. Like the need for status between your equals to be seen by your betters in that kind of noble structure, I think that could lead itself to a not as cohesive like of a military front, and that a more established and bureaucratic entity like I'm assuming the Federation is would be able to find the cracks in that.
Audience at home, keep it in your pants. This is very good conversation, boys. I'm also going to leave just the general wiki page for the 8th MS team. If y'all want to open that, you can just browse through that, specifically the pictures at the bottom for anything we have here today. But we keep on going. Kiki and Mikael fall asleep, and when they wake up, they're kidnapped by some kids, and it's the kids who we saw on the Xeon ship at the beginning of the episode. And they seem to be living around all these Gelgoogs and Zaku remains. And they've taken them hostage and roped them up.
Yeah, and then Kiki burns them free, which is a really interesting choice.
Yeah, that was quite the okay. This is happening. This is the thing.
Yeah. And the kids are nameless to start off, right?
Yeah, and then we get this whole like we get all these scenes of like Kiki's playing house with them and teaching them etiquette, and it's like, look, the kids are cute now, we're not scared of them anymore. And then we meet this dying girl and find out that her name is Aina. Oh my gosh, big reveal.
Aina died.
We're burying Aina.
Yeah,
Girl
but,
with blue
like,
hair who was previously blonde is dying.
yeah, that she's covered in bandages so you can't see her face. Is it the real one? We don't know.
That Pokemon.
I
Like,
also
yeah,
love their little dynamics here. We get our I guess we can say
our shining twins.
all
The
of them are
children from the
named
corn.
after the characters in the show. So the black dude who we saw at the front, his little kid, he's a big personality. His name's Shiro. The one of the little boys is named Mikael. One of them is named Kiki. And they act like kids, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, we do find this out after Kiki is like, hey, it may be that guy I like in the ground, so let's go exhume the corpse. You want to come with me?
You want to go rob some graves?
Yeah,
Grave
just
robbery.
classic exhuming your ex-lover moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we learned, like, Shiro and Aina gave them all names, taught them how to survive, taught them how to scavenge, and they're like, all right, cool. Don't tell anybody where we went, and if they ask why you have all our names, definitely don't tell them you met us. Bye!
There's also
Just the worst job covering your tracks ever.
there's also a little moment because Kiki and Mikael have to teach them how to dig a grave. There's also
Make a funeral.
Yeah. They teach them how to do a funeral, and then they're a moment when they're like, "Aren't you guys sad?" And they're like, "Yeah, but our souls are connected." What do you think about that?
My initial reaction was psychic kids, but again, if it doesn't need to be magical, it should be mundane. So, trauma bond, man. They've literally known no one else, and they're trauma bonded to each other.
I think they're just being romantic and trauma bonded.
I mean, unless Doc shot him full of a bunch of psychedelics, and they really think they're psychic.
Well, they mention in a dream, because we get a nice dream sequence with Shiro too. Well, not Shiro. Let's call him Bliro, where he's asleep and we see them.
Shiny Pikachu.
Yeah. The shiny Pikachu.
Miles,
welcome.
you're missing it. It's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Shizero.
Shizero, yes. So as Shizero, shiny Pikachu Jackson Jr. here is, I can say that, is like having a dream one night. We get to see some papers with some kids' names on them, and they didn't have names, as we learned. And there's numbers and there's barcodes, and they appear to be like, do you guys think experimented on or what?
Yeah,
Definitely.
Dr. Flanagan's Institute.
Dr.
So
Flanagan.
100% experimented on. This is some like Alki Lake Wolverine adamantine bones level experimenting on kids.
Do you all want to put a pin in that name, Dr. Flanagan, for later? What do you think about what do you think is going on here with this sequence?
These Hojo
Child
looking motherfuckers.
soldiers, I guess.
Hoji said this Hojo looking mofo. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, it has strong super soldier vibes.
Yeah, just a bit.
And on their papers, it says erased in terms of their data.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting.
I mean,
Yeah,
it was
trying
a
to,
good
Like
show.
specifically
Clean the records.
erased. And
Maybe they're trying to hide the fact that these children existed via experimentation. I have no clue.
Or
Do you
they
think
took
this is
them.
like some Halo Moment
Or-
stuff, or do you think these kids were orphans and they just found them, or what?
I think found in the sense that we put them in this spot to be found easily legally, and you can't prove that we put them there. Like
For what purpose?
I don't know. I'm now suspicious that Shiziro is the only like black Xeon we've seen.
Well, we
I
get to
think.
see right there. We get to see. Oh, I'll just say it. That's Dr. Flanagan. In the little booth looking over there. There are most certainly black Xeons. I'll just say in Gundam the races
Okay.
people kind of don't matter. There's black,
Okay,
Asian,
okay.
Just
black-
FADs and
So extremely cosmopolitan to answer my warm shade of soft pumpkin. Okay, so that I was thinking along the lines of like, let's kidnap some Fetty children and see if we can brainwash them into zealous super soldiers, but less likely. Orphan does sound plausible.
Orphan tracks, yeah.
Yeah.
But these kids seem to have straight up no knowledge of the world. So let's go with single mother died in childbirth. Government scoops up baby for secret project.
And what do you think this Flanagan Institute's like purpose as a whole is?
To create more Xeon soldiers, I guess.
Do you think all
Maybe.
Xeon soldiers are super soldiers, or do you think just these kids?
Probably the ones that aren't part of noble family. Maybe.
Do you think so? Like the black-haired
If-
girl, I forget her name.
If all of our weapons need to be manually aimed by a pilot, then your pilot's biological abilities are actually extremely important to the effectiveness of your weapons
If you
platform.
remember, Aina also Guineas is like she's special. She needs she needed to pilot the Osprey here for some reason.
Okay. New tinfoil hat for these kids and throwing another noodle at the wall there. Not straight. I mean, eugenics has a strong foot in this game, but let's go with some kind of aggressive gene therapy to create some kind of an artificial noble, where the nobles in this Xeon social structure are those that have the ability to pilot this kind of supernatural ability to pilot better than others. And this is an attempt to replicate that ability en masse without the constraints of, I don't know, 9 months in an artificial womb.
So they're like rapidly cloned children. You think? Do you think the Federation?
No. I think they're getting retroactive gene therapy to provide them with these kind of enhanced ace abilities in this sense. I mean, I'm throwing that noodle at the wall. We'll see what else information you give me.
It's not like they were genetically engineered like the Primarchs.
No.
Because, like, these kids have records, they have paperwork.
Yeah.
So they were already existing. So yeah, that would so gene therapy is kind of supported. I think, Ino was special. Question mark.
Well, we have seen they referred to Norris as an ace in the short. They battle in 3 dimensions. They call Shiro an ace.
Which was bold of a statement, but
You
anyway.
don't think he's that good?
Fuck no.
All right.
No,
all
that
right.
plot
He
armor's
got
doing a lot of work.
washed by Onguth or whatever the hell his name was.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
But pilot ability surely does matter. Cough, cough, Karen. She's doing her best, damn it. But
Best catching rounds. Anyway,
But they dig up the bodies, and we find that there are no bodies. Sorry, excuse me. It's just Shiro and Aina's clothes, and they left the kids with their names and said, "Don't tell anyone. We're burying our identities here."
And then this kid has a whole absolute breakdown over, "You can't take my name. I won't go back to being nameless. It's my name now." It's like, hey, kid,
cool it.
do you know how many people are named John Smith?
But that does also support your point, though. These kids know nothing about the world. And they're having this entire arc is playing off of, oh, I wish I had his name. That Japanese soldier who was in the Philippines or Vietnam, who they found like in the 70s, and for 30 years, he was still fighting a war that he just didn't get notification ended. I forget that guy's real life story, but this is told.
Yeah, I mean it's a classic holdout story now. Like, it's been there's an Archer episode where they reference the fact that it's already been an episode in $1 Million Man. Like, it's kind of a staple of war stories at this point.
And then it starts snowing.
Yeah. Just, I mean, right on cue, almost like the author planned it.
Almost like this is a 90s anime.
I got a question. Snow in South America / Southeast Asia?
Well, weird things happen to the climate when you fire a laser power enough to blow a hole in the mountain. That much heat and energy dumped into the atmosphere is gonna cause some changes.
Do y'all, is that what y'all think's going on? Rest of y'all?
I think a 90s anime.
I had a funnier version.
Okay.
For me, I was at the message mouse. Oh, it's white chlorination syndrome again.
Oh, yes, from the
new thing. Like, oh, never mind.
But it is full-blown caked up snow. And the kids get to see snow, it appears, for the first time.
Yeah.
And then Miles,
you go.
We have the moment that made me hate. I mean, it's a little the kids play in the snow. The snow fell really fast. It covered those trees heavily, really fast.
Yeah, and
going past that, not gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the fact that Mikhail says it. I mean, about 5 seconds after I thought it as a joke. Or maybe they were never real to begin with.
Wake up in the morning.
Maybe it was all an illusion.
Oh my god.
I wrote down that Mikhail was smoking some good stuff.
Was Kiki taking puffs too?
Like, I was typing that into my notes as a joke. I finished typing it as he said the line. I went out loud in the house by myself. No fucking way.
Okay, so serious question. Do you think the kids weren't real, or do you think they just left them in the night?
If it doesn't have to be magical, it's mundane. They left him in the night, and Mikhail is a idiot and a booze hound. I mean, maybe he should put down the crack pipe.
Put down the bottle, fucking get some help.
I'll go to Alcohol's Anonymous. Kiki will just submit you there.
Just talk to somebody, fuck's sake.
I mean, the screenshot you just put, that is the face of depression.
You think he had a manic depressive episode and Kiki caught the depression? Like,
I don't think it's the first time he has had a complete psychotic break. I think we've seen it multiple times on screen.
So you think Kim and Kiki just wandered into this camp and she was just like, oh yeah, this is a nice place to sleep, and he's just been talking to the air like, Shiro, Sanders,
BB was never his girlfriend.
BB doesn't exist.
No. BB exists, but she was never his girlfriend. BB was like the cashier at the 7-Eleven who he comes in and flirts with every day, and he's like, I'm gonna write you while I'm away at war. And she's like, okay. And then he does that, and she's like, "Well, I guess I gotta write him back, or I mean, he can't last that long. He's gotta die." And somehow he makes it through the whole thing. And she's like, "Let me send you a picture of my husband and child so that you stop bothering me." And that's when he finally breaks.
And imagine the whole
That's
thing.
when the house of cards falls.
I would say, and maybe I shouldn't intervene. Maybe I should leave it up to y'all's interpretation. They did show us a whole flashback at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, the kids are real.
Of the kids leaving. Maybe he imagined that flashback too. Maybe that was the booze talking, because it does cut to him drinking the booze. But him and Kiki leave, and in the final few minutes of this episode, they go into the mountains and they walk amongst the redwoods and the deers and everything else. And then finally they find a little cabin in the woods. And standing there is a one-legged Shiro and a pregnant Aina in our final.
Call it.
Yeah,
just silhouetted against that shiny ass Alpine lake.
Dude, you
Yeah,
get that
bright
late
as fuck.
90s friggin' animation slate, like, let that light go through that friggin'. Yeah.
You know, Miles, I think I told you one time that I tried to watch Friends. Like, a lot of people really love Friends, and I've never really been into it. I was more of a Seinfeld guy. And, you know, I was like, Friends is on Netflix. Let me try Friends. And I clicked on it, and I hit play, and about 10 seconds in, it was so 90s, it physically hurt my eyes. That's what I'm looking at right now. That is this ending. This ending is so 90s, like nacho cheese around a ball of corn. Not even corn, like high fructose corn syrup that's been condensed into a neutron star and then dipped in easy cheese. That is how 90s corn this ending is, and it honestly ruined the whole series for me.
Nico runs, he drops his bag immediately. Kiki starts tearing up and crying, and then she falls to her knees in front of them, and then we pan up to the sky.
They're living in a log fucking cabin,
They
Miles.
should have stayed dead.
So they're not only living in the
Literally what I texted Miles is have the courage to die like a real man, Shiro.
So, I got
amazing.
some questions here about what you think happened after this. Here's the big thing. So, Aina is technically a Xeon war criminal that is wanted. Shiro is committed high treason.
Deserter at the best.
Earth Federation seemingly won this war. I'm not sure what the jurisdiction, if it's like the I know. But do you think, like, they're actively searching for them, and Kiki and friggin' Michaela put them at danger coming out and seeing them like this?
God, I hope so.
Oh, of fucking course.
I think if they were really in danger, like if they were caught and that would be a dangerous prospect, maybe they shouldn't have named an entire village of children after everyone they knew.
Whoa, the kids may have done
Were they
this.
real?
Were they
It's
real?
for real.
All right.
Tom is just seething.
And with that,
I hated this ending.
we hit credits, and that is the end of Mobile Suit Gundam, the 8th MS team. What do you guys think you'll ever see these characters again? This particular batch of friends?
I hope we see Shiro's leg. Not all of them.
Okay.
Just the missing leg.
Just the missing.
I think that'd be a really good callback.
Okay. What do you think happens next here, if there is a next for these characters? Do you think Kiki runs up and slaps him and is like, it should have been me, and she's like friggin' orbiting around friggin' Aina's belly like it should be mine? Or
So
what?
she grabs the tea kettle off the table, smashes it over Shiro's head, and then uses one of the shards to just.
That's dark. Let's not go there. Holy crap.
You asked a 40k fan what happens now. What do you want from me?
Yeah, don't ask the 40k fan to show you optimism, man. That world is literally just pain.
Well, so this is
It's all pain.
This is a very, controversial ending in the Gundam fan base. I love it just because I try to be an optimist with most things. I like Shiro and Aina getting their happy ending that they deserved. Because, if Aina just surrendered back at the end of episode 11, if her and Guineas turned themselves in somehow, even Guineas's mental health withstanding. You know, she may have just been put to death if he didn't save her like this. You know.
I mean, considering they were actively trying to shoot her, yeah, absolutely.
You know, and Shiro already from episode 8, 9 was possibly just gonna be on trial after all this, or just go back to his home in side 2, wherever or whatever side 2 is. Do you think Sanders and Elidor and those guys, you'll see them again?
So here's the thing, Miles, is all of my answers to these questions are gonna depend on the next thing we watch.
All
Do
right.
we jump forward in time or backward in time, and how much of a jump is it? Because that will inform a lot of my theories.
All right. Well, I guess we should keep on going since this is the end of this podcast here. Just to finish up, general thoughts on the 8th MS team. First half, last half, 2 different directors, animation, anything. Just general thoughts, boys. Open season for a couple of minutes.
Very 90s. I came here for the giant fighting robots. I got a solid episode of that with one Zaku. So I'm mildly content, although the constant banter between you and Tom is kind of keeping me along for the ride. And I love just throwing my monkey wrenches everywhere. It's great.
All right. Kenny?
Yeah.
Tom?
It was good, I guess. Yeah, I will say like decisive, I guess. I really enjoyed it for what it is, me being more grounded, because I'm used to more of the weird like shonen anime of like Gundam 00, of just everyone moving at like literal light speed and shit. So
and
for
Kenny,
me,
a couple years ago, got to see a bunch of dudes turn red in their mobile suits and moving around at the speed of light, and then fighting a giant golden.
yeah. So this being more like grounded, of well, it's, some of it being a bit more realistic. It was kind of interesting for my like actual first Gundam series, but I enjoyed it overall.
All right. Any final
Yeah.
theories on anything going on with like the 1-year war
Well-
or the conflict or what this is?
Well, I'll just give you my opinion on this, and then I guess we can close out. This is pretty much exactly what I expected from Gundam.
Okay.
I expected to hate a lot of the designs.
Okay.
Because generally, I have a very Western aesthetic.
Okay.
Just dragons and mecha have a very distinct East-West aesthetic difference.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And generally, my aesthetic leans Western, and so I expected to have my problems with this, and I love making fun of 90s anime. Like the 90s are a special time. It's wild. Like, and when we got mechs fighting mechs, it was great. But a lot of the filler, like the world building is awesome. I love the world building. Give me more world building. Give me more mechs fighting each other. But all of the stuff between that, I can't, man. I can't. Like, there's a reason most of these characters don't have names in my head. But overall, I mean, solid like 5.5 out of 10, man. I don't hate it, but like.
Okay.
Let me put my 1 to 10 scale is logarithmic. Nothing is 10. Like 10 is like, this is literally an era-defining piece of media that every single person will know about if I bring it up. That's a 10.
All right.
So like a 5.5 is like, no, this is a solid, somewhat positive piece that I don't hate but don't love. It's not quite, I have no strong feelings one way or the other, because I clearly have lots of strong feelings that go all over the place about this. But like, if you and I had a discussion before coming into Gundam of like, what do you think Gundam is going to be, I probably could have described something very similar to the 8th MS team to you.
Do you think the rest of Gundam is going to be like this?
No.
No.
Yes.
Okay. Wow,
I know a little bit more, so for me, I'm just gonna say yeah.
any of y'all want to elaborate on your thoughts?
I think we're gonna. I hope we're going to have a bunch of different authors taking different takes on the same world and the same issue.
Okay.
Because that would be interesting.
This is one of the oldest sci-fi universes in existence in written medium, going back to 1979. So, for sure, you will see a bunch of different hands. Any final thoughts before we wrap up the story of Mobile Suit Gundam: The 8th MS Team? Anyone have a favorite moment?
Episode 10.
Oh, the fight between
It's just a carry.
Just Norris, or whoever it was, just
Norris.
wiping the floor with the MS team.
Norris.
See, not even that. It's Norris hitting a moving plane with a fucking grapple
Hell yeah.
while in flight himself.
There is a video
that was savage.
There's a video from 13 years ago, which I'm surprised none of you ever saw a reference in this, which is
I technically did.
Yeah, you did. Goof versus Easy 8, best fight scene ever made. I love that entire sequence so much, but that's very...
I knew this fight was eventually coming up because I'm like, I remember a scenario, like I remember watching like a random video of this scene. I'm like, I wonder if it's ever going to come up when we're watching Gundam. I'm like, oh, I think it's coming up. And I knew where it was going to go. But yeah, it's still pretty cool seeing how it's going to lead up to.
All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to close the book on the 8th MS team. Before we do that, just as a little ceremonial thing, would you guys mind turning your attention to my screen in just a second here?
Universal Century 0079. The 1-year war rages on.
Optimus?
Space Noids against Earth dwellers.
I'm gonna drive the Xeon forces right off the Earth.
Zeke against Betty.
Not bad for a Betty, but I bet you're not ready for this! Commander!
As both sides prepare for the final battle.
Run for it!
The secret love of two enemies may be mankind's only hope for peace.
Feeling as you do you believe you can still fire at the enemy?
We're no better than they are. Gundam, 8th MS Team. Next.
You wanted to fight? Well, here it is!
Dig in.
Honestly, if this was my promo, man, I would have been all over this.
Right.
That was good.
That was a good promo.
That's not what the show was, but that was a good promo.
Having seen the show, then watching this promo is just like, what in the fuck kind of slap chop?
So what's weird is I have memories of watching it, but they must just be phantom memories from middle school because this aired in 2001 and I was 2 years old, and there's no way I was watching this at 2 years old. Anyways, next steps here, and it's 9, but we're about to go just a few more minutes because we were late. Gentlemen, who's ready for an award ceremony?
There's awards?
So,
Awards?
Yeah.
Imagine the Star Wars awards music. I'm going to add it in here retroactively. Gentlemen, it is been a pleasure going through your first Gundam series, the 8th MS team, with you here. It is time for promotions. I said I was keeping a secret ledger with ranks and points and data behind for each of you in your performance during this podcast as your Supreme Commander, Great Admiral, Star Leader, Miles Ross. It has been my distinct pleasure going through this with you. Now, in terms of who ranks up, I think it should be obvious. In terms of general commitment to this and work and research and commentary, Tom has put in universal numbers in his efforts towards Gundam, despite how he may feel about certain things in the series and their designs. Which is why it is my pleasure right now, as you're about to see in this server, your colors change. I hereby, with the power vested in me, promote Tom to the rank of Ensign, Mr. Tom Congratulations. You are no longer a private.
You get
Fantastic.
You are now the rank of our Ensign Pikachu. And not only that, there are rewards. The first of which I will allow you
Fucking hilarious.
to come and pick up here in a sec. Tom, for your commitment to this podcast and being a beautiful member of the Earth Federation military, or are we Xeon? You pick one. I am awarding with this high grade Easy 8 kit
What the fuck?
that I've had sitting on my shelves for a minute. Rest of you, no words,
Bruh,
you guys.
Sorry, everything about that box screams hobby shop, and I love it.
Yeah,
This looks like a box that has been sitting on a hobby shop for years, like properly taped,
room for years.
dents in spots. There's like this is a hobby shop box.
Yeah, this has been sitting on my shelf with several other Gundam kits. I'm kind of using this podcast as a means to clear out some space.
That is funny.
But Tom, we'll get you this. Feel free to come by my apartment at any time and pick it up. No, I will not be driving out to you. I have $37 in the bank right now and am not spending money on gas. Don't worry about that. But next time you give me a call. Yeah. Anyways, for the rest of you, you two will be able to be promoted soon. Leo and Kenny, I'll let you know, you guys are actually not trailing too far behind. Unfortunately, only the first guy to get each promotion in rank is getting the kit. But each of you will get an opportunity to do it. I'll also say, if any of you guys want to bring research, I brought up that Gundam channel. If that includes playing PS2 canon Gundam games, or going to this Kakarot 197 page, I will happily give you bonus points. What is my scaling rubric? You don't friggin' get to know, but that's how we're doing it. But if you guys ever have any thoughts or anything you want to bring to the show in terms of research for the little 10 minutes we do afterwards, that channel or the Gundam Wiki is there. I'm not making you do it. I know everybody's got time and work and job obligations, but everyone's got a fair shot for this here today. And we got you. I want to see you guys at Ensign. Don't worry, you'll be there soon. This also comes with something very special. Tom, I know you have your mic muted. This is for you.
That's just because our friend is gaming in the background.
It's
and
all
spills
good.
through the doorway.
It's all good. This promotion also comes with a special ability. Each one of these ranks comes with a special ability. As the rank of Ensign, the privates will not have this. They'll have this when they reach the rank of Ensign 2. You are hereby permitted with the special ability that using a one-sentence question, you can force any one-sentence answer out of Miles once per show. This can be about anything, at any time, at any place. The rules of it are simple. It has to be a one-sentence question, not a run-on sentence, and it will give you a one-sentence answer.
Hell yeah.
Now,
Hell yeah.
you can use it once per show. I'm going to ask you to save it. You'll be able to use it the next show. I'm going to ask you to use it responsibly. I'm not going to trick you or try giving you like a half-assed answer or anything. But if you do ask like a question like, hey, what are Minovsky particles? The answer I'm going to give you, because I know that's what's tickling your gal right now, is going to be Minovsky particles are particles from a Minovsky engine which powers most mobile suits. That is a complete sentence. You probably should save these for yes or no questions, but then again, you get them once per show.
Or no question. Yes or no questions are not useful, but
Okay.
this will be a very useful power.
Once per series.
I will
once per series.
I will consider when to use it, and I will use it appropriately.
Okay, I also haven't written this down anywhere, so Ensign rank upgrade, I'll type that in later. All right. Award ceremony over, music. All right, keep it going, keep it going, keep it pushing. Are you guys ready to start the original series Mobile Suit Gundam?
Wait, we're going like the beginning? Like is that what we're doing?
Do you guys think that's what we're doing?
Bro, I don't know. Tell me what's next and I'll watch it.
I'm hoping for Iron-Blooded Orphans, but I know that's probably not happening.
Not canon to this.
God damn it.
We are not.
I was gonna say,
you can watch Idaho at any point.
Cool.
I remember you recommending that to me at one point,
Just-
way before we even talked about this.
Yeah, if you guys ever have a series, just come to me and I'll let you know if it's on our schedule or not. But like Iron-Blooded Orphans, Gundam 00, Gundam Wing, those are not connected to original Universal Century Gundam. You can watch those at any time, and things in those shows, I'll give you extra credit for that. By the way, if you watch any of those, Kenny, no, the 00 and Gundams we have already watched don't count for you. I'm sorry.
No.
All right.
No time served.
All right. So, we are not starting with original Gundam. Not just yet. So, we talked about it in our session 0 with our good friend Tyler, who is, unfortunately, he is recovering from his Minovsky particle,
Jamming.
exposure syndrome. Good for him. I'm very happy for him. The goal of the show was to go through Gundam in this own little experimental order, right? I have thought back and forth on how to do this because there's the chronological order, there's the chronological order with OVAs, excluding OVAs, using specials. There's a version of this podcast where I would have had you all reading manga, which I certainly don't want to do. If you want to do it for extra credit, let me know. But there is a series that is very controversial in the Gundam timeline, but would give you guys a whole lot of answers and I'd say is beneficial. Have any of you guys heard of a manga called Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin?
I think I've heard of it, but
Mobile,
don't know other than that. Than
You
just
you can assume the answer to this question will always be no.
So, Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin is a manga created by Hajime Yatate and Yoshiyuki Tomino. It is a retelling of the original Gundam series in manga form with colored panels that ran from 2001 through 2011. It is very beautiful, and I wish I had the pages here to show you, but there's just giant splash page illustrations that retell the story of our white base crew and what happens with them, and in panels and compositions that I'd say to an extent rival the look of the original Gundam anime. And it's very cool and it's very awesome, and if you go to a Barnes & Noble in the US, you normally will see it on shelves. It's a really cool comic, but it's a retelling of the original Gundam show. So the original Gundam show is from 1979. This ran 2001 through 2011, right? There was a planned animated adaptation of this that was going to be made and start around the mid-2010s, right? Around when I was a teenager, called Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin. They never did it. What they did do is they did a prequel series that served as an OVA that started off as a movie called Mobile Suit Gundam: Origin Advent of the Red Comet.
Okay.
That is what we're going to watch next. Here's the little preface for this thing. So, number one, this is a TV show that was cut up from 6 different episodes of a movie. I thought of doing the movie, just showing you all the movies. It's 6 movies. We're going to do the TV show edits because there are differences. Okay? This is a prequel, not to Mobile Suit Gundam, but to Mobile Suit Gundam: The Origin. Have any of y'all watched Ben 10 or grew up watching Ben 10 Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bro, I'm way older than you.
You're like 7 years old. You could have been watching Ben 10.
Oh, in kid show years, that's significant.
Yeah, that's significant. Yeah. Ben 10. Yeah, it's not super immortal like SpongeBob where everybody watches it. My producer, she watches SpongeBob, which I was like, oh, okay, that's a surprise. When the Origin TV show was being made, like I said, when this Origin prequel OVA was being made, they hoped to get to do the full TV show remake of Gundam, all 37 to 50 episodes of it, and they never came about. The Origin manga has differences that are non-canon to the Gundam show, okay? And I always bring this up, that canonicity sometimes does not matter to creators as much as it does to the audience. who consumes that media, the Gundam fan base is kind of sticklers for details in sort of ways, in ways that I'm not. I'm a little loosey-goosey with things, but I just want to bring this out right now, that we are bringing these up because questions about the backstory of this world, Minovsky particles, what the background of this war is, were materials that for a lot of points were delivered in supplementary materials in the original show that was airing in 1979. So if you wanted to know, like, hey, what is up with the Zombie family or the Principality of Zeon, or what is a Minovsky particle, you had to be reading New Type magazine, which is a magazine that was running in the 80s, or magazines like Mobile Suit Variation, that had articles with lore details written in lore, like as if characters were in them, but you could not actually get the details of the thing in the show. It was basically the first example of an extended universe. This has those details in it, but there are clear lore differences, okay? These lore differences range from the color of people's eyes and certain mobile suits and events being in places and parts where they weren't. The big two is what some fans describe as a mischaracterization of a certain character, and a certain event that Tom is very much gonna want to know about that happened very differently, because this was supposed to be made for a show that never happened. But functionally, this can serve as a solid prequel to the original Gundam show that has answers to questions and details and things you'd need to know that you would have had to read novels and magazines and light novels to get that information for. The big thing here is that big mischaracterization thing involves a character that is by far the most, like, weirdest character in the history of fiction. I wish I had the picture ready. But just suffice to say, this thing is controversial because some people are like, it's non-canon, it's stupid. Technically, what you are going to watch is non-canon, but all the events and characters and things that happen to them are canon. Does that make sense? I know I've talked in circles here. Y'all there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting an image for a joke in chat there.
Weirder than Hisoka, Tom.
I find that seriously hard to believe. But I
terms-
mean, if you're telling me this will give me all of the answers and information and background knowledge that I need going forward, sign me up, man.
All right,
I'm in.
I'm not sure if y'all have the time tonight, but actually the first episode, minute 1, has a solid image that will answer something for Tom. But we are going to start with Mobile Suit Gundam Advent of the Red Comet episode, and this is on Crunchyroll or our other service we have there. We're not going to use the Hulu link because the Hulu link is the movies. We're using the TV show. We are going to start with episode 1, Child of Zeon, episode 2, A Promise with Mother, and episode 3, Eduard and Sayla. And this is going to be our next show. It is 13 episodes, and we are going to start with these 3. I'm putting them there in general. I also have our link for our other service there for you guys that don't have Crunchyroll. Does anyone have any questions for me?
All good, man.
Sweet. So just
Was there a reason why we're not watching Origin and Advent or versus Advent of the Red Comet? Why is that?
the TV show edits is a little bit different than the movie edits. It's a slightly different thing. We could be watching them in the six movie burst, I know, but this will make for a better conversational form. But we're gonna start with episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Advent of the Red Comet, the TV show. The ones I just linked right there in general. Does anyone have any questions for me at all? All right, gentlemen. And like I said, if you guys want extra credit, bring anything Gundam, and you may get them ranks up, along with the special abilities or anything coming with it. Not making you do, I know we're all adults, but it's there. Gentlemen, it has been a blast going through the 8th MS team. I know how y'all have the critical feelings of it, and I know some of our audience members at home are pulling out the hair. It is by far one of my favorite Gundam series, just aesthetic-wise and narrative-wise. And I'm excited to see what y'all think of Advent of the Red Comet, understanding that it is technically not canon, but all the events that happen within it are canon. Sort of. Alright?
Alrighty.
All right. Well, hey, we're a little 13 minutes over, so we'll call it there. Actually, we started 13 minutes late, so this is exactly 2 hours. Thank y'all so much for being with me. Any last words for our Commander Pikachu and in the journey of the 8-boy gang?
Die like a real man.
You should have died earlier.
Losing a leg was an understatement.
All right. We'll see y'all next time.